Ladies and gentlemen, and children of the planet Earth, today's dissertation is brought to you in part because of a shout out that Inventor Gorilla gave me this morning and some advice he gave me in regards to giving the public an info bomb based on my book. So today we are going to do exactly that, and we are going to explore the chapter called The Evil Seed of Death, which I have interpreted as the seed pod or the compass that sits upon the reverse of the $1 bill on the right hand side. And I have coined this terminology, the evil seed of death, because everything that you see inside this sphere on the right compass, inside the wings of the sixth-winged seraphim, upon the reverse of the $1 bill, which is also an exact replica of the Ark of the Covenant, everything you see inside this sphere that I'm going to enlarge right now, everything you see has to do with death. Everything inside this sphere has to do with death and death only. And I am going to review the 13 evils by going to my book now, and then I will sit down and we will go back and forth from the book to the 13 evils that appear on the reverse of the $1 bill inside the evil seed of death. This is another representation of the end of the $1 bill and the sixth-winged seraphim that I will enlarge and show you is in fact, so that you can see the methodology in which Euclidean optics takes hold of these seemingly simple pictographs or pictography or ideograms and changes them from a two-dimensional plane object that appears before you on your screen, from a two-dimensional plane view when you rotate it to a 45-degree angle, to what almost appears to be a bullock or a seraphim, and then when you give it the slightest bit of folding, it becomes a bullock or a seraphim. And that is how pictography works. And by going to this video, Euclidean Optics and Pictography, created with a supercomputer 7,000 years ago on the $1 bill, you will be able to see how I have not only postulated the fact, but in fact proven my theory that the entire front and back, or obverse and reverse, of the $1 bill is a series of pictograms and ideograms dating back 7,000 years. But moving back to the book itself, let us go to Angels on the Ark, that you can review by going to my website, by clicking any of the links under my videos, and then moving down to this button at the bottom in the preview of the book section, Evil Seed of Death. And in this, I describe the 13 evils that exist within the evil seed of death. And I assure you, nowhere on earth before I published my book had anybody seen most of the evils that exist in the methodology and way that which they are presented in pictography and in the Bible as parables and pictographs on the $1 bill related to the parables themselves. So, this is a snippet of the book that you can go to again by pressing the Evil Seed of Death button. And here we go, discussing the 13 evils that exist within the evil seed of death. The first item is the great sword that is discussed in verse 4 of Revelation, given unto the red horse, and is a nuclear device that appears to be a glory and has 13 individual 5-pointed stars. So this is the first evil, which is a nuclear device, and we are going to expand this once again. This is the nuclear device that is spoken about as the great sword that comes from on high. But this also represents Barack Hussein Obama, whose three names represent a great flash of lightning or a great explosion from on high. Barack Hussein Obama represents a great flash of lightning from on high, and that is also discussed in this chapter, the evil seed of death. So this is the first and the 13th evil of the evil seed of death, because it represents Barack Hussein Obama, thus accomplishing the first of 13 evils. Let us go back to the book once again, and let us go to the second part, or the second evil. Item number 2, the blue part of the American flag or shield is called the chief, and has 13 horizontal stripes. Moving back to the pictographs, the chief, which is the blue part, which is this section right here, immediately below the eagle's neckline, is the chief. This section here is called the chief. Inside the chief are 13 stripes. That is the second number that represents 13. As I said, there are 13 evils. Barack Hussein Obama being the first and the last evil, because his name, Barack Hussein Obama, represents a great flash from on high. By utilizing the definitions in Strong's Dictionary, you can come to no other conclusion. This information has been done by a dozen different people that understand Bible terminology and the utilization of Strong's Dictionary and of course eSword, and they have all come to the same exact conclusion that I have placed in my book, Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio, because there can be no other conclusion. Barack Hussein Obama, those three words mean a great flash of lightning from on high, and that is the representation of the nuclear detonation over the eagle's head. Moving back, we go to the third item, which is also on the shield, called the war chest, or 13 vertical stripes. Moving back, we will go to the war chest, which is 13 vertical stripes set inside the compass for your viewing pleasure. These are the 13 individual stripes that set upon and inside the Great Seal, representing the number 13. Going to item number 4, there are 13 seeds on the bow, or what I call bow because it is spelled the same way, the bow of olive branch. There are 13 seeds. Going back to the pictogram, on the bow of olive branch, there are 13 seeds entwined inside the leaves. Going back to Angels on the Ark once again, there are 13 leaves on the bow of olive branch, which I just showed you. There are 13 leaves and 13 seeds. Item number 6 is there are 13 arrows within the sinister claw. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the claws have a definition or a definitive name. And this is the type of thing I discuss with you in my book, Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio. I break down these words incrementally and give you the definitions of what the terminology of the words mean in today's world and what they meant in ancient history, if necessary, in relationship to the words in the Bible. So, item number 6, once again, there are 13 arrows within the sinister claw of the eagle's talon. So going back to the sinister claw, which is the claw with the 13 arrows in it, there are now, if you count them, 13 arrows within the sinister claw. Moving back to the book Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio, the eagle's dexter claw, D-E-X-T-E-R, has one talon facing downward and 3 talons facing upwards. In fact, representing the numbers 1 and 3. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, in pictography, 1 claw facing downward and 3 claws facing upward would represent the number 13. This is how pictography works. This is how it was placed on the obverse and reverse of the $1 bill, and this is how a remnant society that has existed on this planet for upwards of 7,000 years has chosen to leave its mark on society for a dual purpose of, number 1, proving its own existence to the descendants of this society, and number 2, proving that beyond any doubt its ability to portray information